Hey Gina, this is Mimi, and I'm here to do your reading. Your question being about career and wanting some guidance on that. It's kind of funny. I was meditating before I started recording, and the first thing that came into my mind was, well, you said your birthday is in June, and it was in the Gemini block, and the first thing that came to my mind was the Major Arcana card of the Lovers, which is your card, but it is also about making a decision. So just know that that energy kind of came to me that there's some decision that you need to make about this that you maybe haven't fully made yet about this career situation. Okay, but let's get into the reading. I'm going to do a 4-card pull. It is based upon the situation with the career. There are some actions to take, and then this third card will be actions to avoid or to stop taking, and then any overall advice that Spirit has for you. I've got the Universal Rider-Waite-Smith, which is kind of a recoloration of the original Rider-Waite-Smith. And I've got the Cartouche and Norse runes for any further clarification if things aren't clear. But it seems pretty cut and dry with career. Congratulations on the wedding coming up. That's exciting. So this reading is for Gina, Gemini, for career. What's going on with her career? What's the energy around her career? Finding a job that she loves, balancing that with the life, with her family that she loves and values so much. And the decision might be around that. It's not like you haven't made a decision logically, but have you made a decision spiritually about what you want as it relates to career? Maybe it's going to involve a career change, something that you, excuse me, that's a little bit different from what you used to do. This is for Gina on her career and the energy around her career. Steps to take, actions to avoid, and overall advice. Holy Hecate. What guidance in career, in occupation, and vocation for Gina can you provide? What's the situation and the energy around career, around her job, a job, as it relates to those things important to her in her life? What are some steps that can be taken for the highest good? Where she can place her energy and where she should avoid placing. Thank you. So you got the Knight of Wands in reverse. This is very much an Aries energy, and we're kind of moving into the months of Aries now. The spring equinox is coming up soon, this week actually, and that is a fiery, active action. It's action-oriented. It's sometimes impulsive. Okay, so this first card relates to the overall energy of the question or the situation at hand. And you got the Knight of Wands, which astrologically this is a Sagittarian card. And it does not mean it has something necessarily to do with a Sagittarius, but it does have to do with that energy. And the energy of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, is an expansive energy. It is a think big, act big type of thing, and then, you know, calculate it later. And that's kind of at odds with your rational, logical, mercurial Gemini thinking state, because you're a thinking sign. Mercury, your ruling planet, is think, 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 think again. Great personality, but the mind is constantly going. Definitely an intellectual, logical, and thinking sign, whereas this energy here is a little bit more impulsive than that. It's a little bit more action. So this being the low octave of Sagittarius, which can be promising more than you're able to deliver, that can be, and that's not me not having a go at you saying that that's what you do, but make sure that you have the resources, all resources, health, time, money, spiritual space? Do you have the resources for the types of jobs or jobs in general that you're going for? And make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin. Okay. And then make sure that you're employing your natural solar instincts of thinking, logically thinking, not thinking in no action, but thinking before leaping. Because this is kind of the energy. It seems like you're kind of quite keen to start a new career, but you're not going about it in your normal, logical, methodical way. So, you guys like to think, you guys like to plan, prioritize. So these are all things to think about with this card. This is again around the energy of the question or the situation that you're in, wanting to know about career. So definitely career is there, but make sure you're going about it the right way. Make sure you're not being impulsive. Maybe make sure you're not spreading yourself too thin with your energy and your resources with the type of career that you're going for. And for the way that you're going for the career, that's kind of coming to me too. Are you sending out 5 million resumes without much thought, and trying to decipher which companies actually are a good fit for you spiritually, physically, mentally, what you like? I mean, do you align with their values? Do you align with the job in general? Is it something that you would really enjoy? So instead of like blasting out yourself, on what is it, Monster, and then the resumes and the LinkedIn and all that. I mean, there is the possibility of just blasting your information out there. Maybe do some of that Mercurial Gemini due diligence and prioritize and stop and think, okay, am I sending this to where I want it to go? Am I connecting with and aligning with the type of jobs that I want? Because from what I understand, things in your family are very important to you. I mean, you sort of implied that you really love kids, and your family, your immediate family that you've created, is now creating a bigger family. So it's expanding. That means more of things that you love. So does that mean maybe something that you need to think about? Are you going to choose a career that's going to keep you from the thing that you love so much, or is your career choice going to include the thing that you love so much? If that makes sense. Okay, so let's look at some guidance in terms of things to employ, actions to take. What are some actions to take around this energy of career? We know the message here is to maybe slow down, reprioritize, regroup what you want, Gina, before you start, blasting out everything to all the companies out there, and to maybe really take some stock in what it is that you want and where your resources lay. And do like a quantity check on your resources. Where can you give your resources? Maybe it's not a situation where you can or you really want to work a full 40-hour week. Do you want to get into thank you. So also getting a message here that you might be stuck in your head. This is Swords energy, which is mental energy. 8 of Swords. This can be you imprisoning yourself in a way of thinking. It kind of indicates that when you look at the picture. See? She's blindfolded loosely, she's bound loosely, and she's sort of surrounded by 8 swords. Swords, again, mental energy. But she can easily get out of it. She just has to know that she's in that jail, so to speak. So are your own thoughts and your own perspectives holding you back? Do you have maybe an old idea, a old idea of what it means to have career? Are you holding on to old ideas of career you used to have in the past? Are you going for the same thing, and maybe that doesn't really make you happy? Are you going about it in rather dated ways? Are you stuck in a way of thinking that's restricting your ability to be expansive? Because again, the expansive nature of Jupiter, the ruler of this card, this is Sagittarius, Knight of Wands in reverse, is restrictive. It's there are no boundaries. We can make anything happen. It's expansive. It's, in this case, it can be promising more than you can deliver. So there's that warning as well. But are you limiting how you perceive career? Are you limiting the types of careers that you think that you're suitable for or that you'd enjoy? And are you even limiting the job landscape out there? There may be jobs and careers that you would love that have existed now, excuse me, that exist now that didn't exist, say, I don't know, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And that's truly the case. I mean, who ever heard of a blogger? I mean, I'm old enough to remember anybody called themselves a blogger. It's like, get a job, loser. But a blogger is a career. It is a full-on career. So make sure, excuse me, make sure your thoughts are not holding you back on how you go about it and what you go for. Okay, so that's some advice to free yourself from the bonds of limitation and restriction. Again, Mercury ruled signs like yourself and Virgo can analyze something into the ground. Okay, so that's another thing. This could be the non-movement that you actually should be taking. Gemini, are you thinking too much about what you're going to do, how you're going to do, what you're going to, I mean, maybe this isn't a warning to slow down, but rather this is a warning that you are slowed down. That right now, at the moment, you're overthinking everything. So, you know, I don't know your current situation. It seems to me it's more like you have this feeling you need to send your resume out to 1 million people, and kind of maybe do it in the old way that you've done it, and in the old careers that you used to do, the careers that have been in your past, the careers that you feel that you're suited to. But don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to what you think that you're capable of or what you think you're suited for. Because, I mean, as the world is changing at a rapid pace, I swear I think it's going faster than it did years before. So keep that in mind, that there are possibilities beyond what you might have even considered, even as much as you like to think. Okay? These are things to avoid. It could be that you're thinking it to death and you're not taking action. That could be what this is and what this is. But I don't think so. I think it's actually possibly the opposite. I think that you are going full force in an old-fashioned way, in the old way that you used to approach career and jobs. Kind of restricted to the way it used to be, and the way it used to be is the past. We're here now, and the future is changing at a rapid pace. So make sure you're staying open to things that are new. What are some things to avoid? What are some things Gina can avoid, should avoid? Thank you. The family home card. So it's kind of looking like you need to get out. Yeah. This is the happy home card. And it sounds like you have a happy home. It's filled with the joy and the laughter of children. It looks like you might need to get out of the family dynamic mentally. And that could be part of the prison that you're in as well here. Get out of the mental dynamic of family alone, because this is something to avoid. I'm not saying, you know, become a shrewd career person and totally negate your family at all, but it's saying you are a whole person. Before you became the matriarch of your family, you were a whole person, and you're still that whole person, and your life still goes on as does everyone else's life. So I think what you're being guided by Spirit here is to avoid letting this make your decisions. And it's funny, I just said a moment ago, consider that in your decisions. You know, family, where do you want to, you know, share your resources with others? Where do you want to keep them? Spirit is kind of guiding you against what I just said, and is saying, make sure that your fears or your ties to family and to home are not keeping you from going for what you want. In other words, remember you in all of this. It's very easy for matriarchs and patriarchs to forget that they are something other than a parent and a husband and a wife. But you are very much a whole person in and of yourself, apart, and on your soul's on this journey as an individual soul, going back to the collective. And it's really hard to separate that sometimes. And so Spirit's kind of calling you to avoid getting in the trap of always considering the family. Make sure that you're kind of the opposite of what I said just a moment ago. In other words, get out of your head about the restrictions of what are possible for you. Um, consider, what I'm kind of getting is consider yourself more. In fact, I would guess that you might need to learn to do that. Learn to remember you as the individual and as the person, the whole person, not just the mom and not just the dad and the grandmom and so forth. So maybe disconnect just a little bit, not totally, but just remember that you're a whole person apart from the family. And then some overall advice. That's really funny. And I can see how strong family is that came up in your guidance to avoid. So it looks like career is really important. Yeah, and actually this completely goes against what I was taking from this. So this is actually you not moving and being completely in your head because you're considering this way too much. And that sounds so cold. I don't mean it to sound cold, but that's pretty much what it's saying. What's some advice for Gina with career? Thank you. You got the Knight of Cups in reverse. This is the Pisces card. The Pisces card, Pisces is, it's water, obviously, so it's very emotive, it's spiritual. Pisces rules the 12th house, which is kind of the point in life when our soul stops being individual and goes back into the collective, you know, Godhead, spirit world. It is ruled by Neptune, and you got it in the low octave. So the low octave of Neptune is escapism. So the overall advice here is to avoid two things that, because we know where you are. You're definitely in your head, which is not surprising for a Gemini. Should I or shouldn't I? Do I do this or do I not do this? And that's keeping you from taking the action that you need to. I still feel, because I was getting those messages, that the action needs to be a thoughtful action. So don't stop thinking about the action. Don't just like do it. And the idea of sending a million resumes out on these websites without thinking logically about what you'd like to do is still relevant. I think that that's something that you should avoid, but you've got to do something. So I almost have this feeling, and that might have been why I was getting the Lover's card as a visual when I was meditating, about a decision. You need to make a decision about who you are and what you want. Have you lost who you are? Okay? And it's very easy to escape into what you know. But you already are telling me, and from your messages, that you're feeling that, you know, you're kind of climbing up the walls a little bit. You know you need to go out and you know you need to do something, but I think it might have something to do with you getting to know you. Not you 20 years ago, but you now, with all the experiences you've had. What do you feel like doing now? How do you feel like expressing yourself into the world now? Do you want to be a florist? Do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be a corporate mogul? Do you want to be an activist? What do you like now? What's fueling your soul now? So this is kind of, I know it's kind of like a dichotomy, or I'm saying stop being in your head so much, but I think this being in your head is more about escaping, right, back into what you know, because it's safe and you know it and you love it, right? But I think what you're being called here to do is maybe take the action that you need to use this super thinking power that, you know, Geminis have, that Mercury has, to get to know yourself again. I think that's big and key here. And I think that's why the Lover's card was being shown to me. Get to know you now. And how can you see yourself expressing yourself to the world? What contribution do you want to make? What makes you feel good? How does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel good to be an office manager, to get things orderly and to prioritize things using that Gemini skill, that deductive reasoning skill? Does it make you feel good to share your knowledge with others? Does it make you feel good to paint? Work with elderly people? These are just things that are, you know, kind of coming to me, but that's what I'm saying is this is kind of a time for you to get to know you all over again. And now what do you want? Like, think of it's like life is like, what do you want? What do you want to be when you grow up? So that question's kind of being presented to you again. It's kind of cool, right? What do you want to be when you grow up now that you've got this new experience of rearing a family? So I think that's kind of the guidance that we're getting here from this reading is don't stay in your head to escape, to stay here, because this is what you're being told to avoid. Apparently you've been letting this happy home, family, extended family motivate you in everything that you're doing. So you got to get out of your head with that. And you got to re-enter yourself into the head, into your mind. Okay, I know I'm a wife and I know I'm a family and I love those babies. Gosh, I love those babies. But I wonder, but I need to express myself out into the outside world. And, you know, it's many years later than it used to be when I was in the working place or in the working world. How do I want to express myself now? I love children. Do I want to teach? Do I want to be a nurse in the baby department? I don't know. I'm so not a mom. At the hospital, or do you see what I'm saying? This is a time to get to know you again and what you truly want without allowing this beautiful family that you've created to hinder that. And once you make this decision of what it is that you want, who it is that you are, that's totally why the Lover's card kept coming in my head. Who it is that you are and what it is that you want, and you make that decision, then you go for it. Then you do blast the internet with your resume. But until you know, you got to use your mental skills the right way now. Don't let this season every step that you take. Kind of have to separate yourself just a little bit. And that might start with a night out with the girls. That could start with, maybe going to a career seminar. Maybe, you know, just on a whim, if there's like a hiring carnival or a carnival, that sounds terrible. A hiring, a career, what do they call it? A career convention. You know, several local employers will come to a career convention and they'll take resumes there on the spot and interview there on the spot. You know, maybe just for shits and giggles, go to one of those and see, I never thought about doing this, or I never thought about doing that, or Google new careers in the new millennium, or do you know what I mean? Careers with kids, careers with this, with that. So I think it's time to take some stock about you as an individual. I'm repeating myself, but I think that's truly the message. Okay, I really hope this helped, Gina. If you have questions about this, obviously email me. We can clarify. I'm going to keep the space open for the 27th, which is the, right? Is that right? I'm sorry. I'm kind of, yeah, the 27th Tuesday. I'm open that whole day, so I'll keep the space open for you just in case. If you don't need it, just, you know, email me, let me know. And I think that's it. So if you have any questions, just email me. I'll also include my cell phone in the email to you when I send this to you. I'm going to put this onto YouTube, but it will be unlisted and private. So if you want it public, you can let me know. It would show up as client reading Gina. It's been pretty, you know, unspecific, so it shouldn't be embarrassing. But if you want it to remain unlisted and private, that's totally fine too. You just let me know, and yeah, I'll stop talking now. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope this helped. And again, if you have questions, let me know. Take care, Gina.